So let's continue, guys. Let's move to the next topic. So till date, we had done multiple things in the Jenkins, right? Technically, almost all the major things about the Jenkins we have done in our last classes, right? But there's some more practicals left and some more concept guys left that I would like to cover maybe today, and I might require one more class to complete, right? So let's move what exactly we have to do today. So today, guys, I'm going to show you how you can um, integrate Jenkins with Kubernetes. This practical, guys, we had already done. Okay, but the motto was very different. Okay, there the motto was to use Kubernetes to build build the apps and something like this. We dynamically provisioning the agent in the pod of the Kubernetes. So motto was very different. I can use the term there. What we had done is a continuous building part. Okay, but today my focus would be how we can integrate Jenkins for continuous deployment, right? So what I mean by this, let me first explain you the concept and then we will move to the next part. Again, we are into Jenkins class, but I believe some of the basic classes of Kubernetes we have provided to you, because nowadays it's become very much standard. Mostly, mostly guys, we are deploying the app on the top of Kubernetes. So having a basic knowledge in Kubernetes or maybe detailed knowledge of Kubernetes always guys help you, especially in this DevOps world. Okay, so I consider you guys has a very basic level idea of what Kubernetes is. Okay, so what exactly we are going to do, you guys know the entire process from dev, it go code to GitHub and something like that. So finally, what we had already from our last discussion, right? So we had our final Docker image or the container image. Okay, what this image contain? This image contain your base operating system plus your your web server or app server like Tomcat, WebSphere, or maybe Apache web server, and plus your app, right? So whatever language your app you have is there. So this entire block stack is there in the image. Okay, it may be a template, it may be AMI, it may be any image, whatever guys you know. But right now I'm focusing here more on container or the Docker image. Even though guys, if you remember, I showed you some practical in my initial classes where I show you we had we can use Jenkins also to create and build our images. Okay, so this image we have already. Okay, just for example, what I'm doing here, we have a git sorry, Docker hub, and in my Docker hub guys, I had created some of the images and I already uploaded. Okay, so one of the images that I normally use, so we search here like Wimble 13. Okay, we search here, you find some of the images uploaded by me, and this is one of the images. So what this image content was some app pages, means PHP pages, and some other things what we need. So this image we have already. What we want to do here, okay, I want this image to be run, and now it is your choice how you want to run this image. Either you can download this image manually and you can take the help of Docker to run it. Okay, or you can take the help of Kubernetes. That's what it is, the standard now in the market. So we can ask the Kubernetes, and what can we do with the Kubernetes? Kubernetes will download this image, and after they download this image, they will launch this environment. Means this OS, this web server, and this app. And the Kubernetes world, guys, this is known as pod. So they launch the pod, and what we have in the pod, we have our final app or web server running. So my client will hit the IP address of this pod, and they will get access to this part. Okay, so technically guys, what finally I'm talking about here in today's use case, we have image, that again we can use Jenkins to build. I showed you multiple practical on this context. Okay, but this this discussion, guys, we had done multiple time already. uh, Today plan is we have our image with us, how you can run and launch this app or this image. And guys, this concept is called deploy or deployment. Now it is your choice. You want to deploy on the top of Kubernetes, directly on the Docker, on AWS cloud, maybe OpenShift, Beanstalk, whatever, guys, platform as a service, you know, you can deploy anywhere. I'm taking the example of Kubernetes because I told you this, it is a standard platform nowadays. Okay, so that's what we would like to do today. This is one of the topic. Otherwise, there's some small topic also we have to be discussed, right? So for this, guys, what I have right now, I already have a local Minikube installer. I have a local Kubernetes with me. If I open my Windows command prompt, and I can use a kubectl get ports command to see my connectivity. So technically this command says I don't have any port running. Okay, so this setup I have already. So, and second thing is I have my Red Hat system running where I have a Jenkins running. And let me very quickly connect to my Jenkins system. Okay, and in the last class, guys, we had set up some IAM part or RBAC part. So this is my admin user right now. I've logged in with my admin. Okay. Now, first of all, guys, if you want to use Kubernetes, okay, for worker part or the agent part, there's a different thing that we have already seen. Okay. But if you want to use Kubernetes for deployment part, okay, so for this, Jenkins should know how to contact to Kubernetes. Okay, and for this, right, there's a plugins available for this. So if I click on manage Jenkins, and if you go and click on the plugins, so we have a separate plugin for this. In my case, I already have, but if you search for Kubernetes, okay, Kubernetes, we have one plugin that we need for this, and the name of the plugin is continuous deployment. Okay, so by default, guys, this plugin is not installed. Okay, you can use this plugin to go for deployment part. So understand one thing, guys. My motto here, we want our final app to be launched or to be deployed or to be deployment over the Kubernetes. For this, Jenkins will should know how Jenkins can integrate with the Kubernetes. For this is the plugin we need. We need. Okay, so there's one requirement we have, and that's all. So let me show you guys how we can do it. So my final plan is I have this image again is created by Jenkins, thing in this way because I show you. So I have this image and I want this image to be deployed on the top of Kubernetes with the help of Jenkins. So how we can do this? Let me show you. And guys, this practical I'm going to show you again with the help of pipeline. Even though both of the method you can use, you can go for jobs method also, and you can go for a pipeline method also. Whatever you guys comfortable on, you can take any of the method. So if you want, I'll show you both the method. But right now, I'm just going for a method called pipeline. Okay, so I'm moving to again to the Jenkins dashboard. I'm going to create a new item. Let me give the name called a cube pipe something. Okay, and this would be a pipeline project. Okay, and guys, yeah, one more thing, by chance, just to recall, last 2 or 3 classes, guys, was very important because that there I have introduced you multi branch pipeline and I discuss you there a lot in detail, right? So just try to just keep this thing in mind. Multi branch pipeline is very interesting topic, and lots of things we can implement there. And I explained those concepts in very detail. Okay, just one thing I just want to update you again. So now I'm going to guys pipeline. Now guys, here there's two options we have. Either you can type your entire pipeline code here, but the way I explained you guys in my last class, typically a developer is the one who will plan their pipeline. So obviously normally they don't come here in the Jenkins portal to log in. Okay, so they put everything in their GitHub account, their app, their code, and everything they put there. And that's what guys I'm going to do over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, because there's option also guys, there's called SCM. Means you can get the pipeline code directly from the HCM. Okay, so I'll go to my GitHub account just to think in this way that that I am a developer. Okay, I click here and I'm going to create a project here. Let's say this is Jenkins Kubernetes pipeline deploy, because I'm going to do a deployment part, not building part. Right, building part we have done. Building means pod will launch on the fly. This pod will work as a worker node, and worker node will connect to master, and that pod will use to build something. So that part we had discussed, in the dynamic provisioning part. So I'm going to create a new repository. So let's say I'm a developer. I'm going to initiate this repository. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a file. Okay, a new file, and it is a standard in the market. If you want to write a pipeline as a code, you can give any name, but it's standard in the market. You have to give a file name called Jenkins with J capital file. So this is the standard we have to follow. Why standard? There's nothing special, but everybody use this. And there's one more small reason for this, because guys, if you when you go and tell my pipeline is there in this SCM, and here they ask you where you SCM, you say GitHub. Okay, and when you type this particular URL, let me save this file first. When you type this URL, sorry, over here, so your pipeline as a code will go to this GitHub and look for a file in a master branch, look for a file called Jenkins file. So that is again one of the reasons. Otherwise, you can change the name also. That would be your choice. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. So I'm just updating this little file, and how to write a pipeline as a code. You guys know tons of code we have done, right? Very powerful code, even though we have written. But let me write very small code just to test. So I'm writing pipeline. Curly brace start, curly brace close. Okay, and between the pipeline, what I'm doing here, I'm telling the agent would be any, right? It will be launched in my master node only, also, or stages, right? So you guys know what stages. So I might have multiple stages. Okay, and you have to give a stage name. Let's say my stage name is just let's say ABC. Okay, and inside the stages, we can add multiple steps. Okay, and let's say one of my steps maybe one of the steps may be eco, just for testing, eco high. So pretty simple pipeline just for testing we had created. And let me commit. So let's say I'm a developer, I'm working in my repository, maybe in local laptop, upload here this code. Okay, now if you run this, or maybe you can set the triggers, so you don't have to come here and run it, but I don't have trigger right now, so I'm running manually. So this pipeline will go to that URL, download the code from the GitHub. They detect this file exists, or because this file exists, they will go inside the file, and whatever code we had in this file, okay, they run it. So this output come up because they detected this file is there. Okay, they run it. So pretty straightforward, nothing very much complex here. Okay, so main thing is what we are going to do here. Okay, because our plan is to run the Kubernetes pod. And anybody who by chance know Kubernetes, right? Normally, guys, in the Kubernetes, whatever you want to run it, you also have to create a code there. Okay, that code is also known as a manifest file or YAML code. You have to write there. Okay, so to give you a very quick idea, so let's say right now I'm in Windows, so I'm going to create a pod. Or normally, guys, in the Kubernetes, we normally want to create a deployment. Normally, deployment is the one who launched the pod for you. You can give your deployment a name. Here you can tell which image you want to use. Okay, so in my case, I want to use an image, this one. So guys, this very basic command of Kubernetes, this one. So that's all, guys, one click and your deployment launch. And deployment, guys, finally, this name I already have. Let me give the new name, one. And deployment, guys, finally launch a pod for you. Okay, so this deployment will launch the pods for you. Why they are not launching? Why they are not launching? Because, guys, they are not launching. There might be one reason in my laptop. You don't have to worry about. I think I set some quotas in my last class, so this might be the one who is stopping me. So let me delete the quota, guys. I actually, guys, I'm trying to type very fast. But I know, guys, in one of my hand I have a pouch, because I had a bad soldier injury. So I can't use one second hand, so I'm trying to type as much as fast from one hand, so things will be done fastly. So just bear with me. That's all. So I think this might be the reason. Yeah, that is the reason. So my pod launch. So this is a pretty simple command of Kubernetes to launch the deployment. Okay, but guys, this command, if you want to run anything in the Kubernetes, either you can use the command, but normally, guys, instead of command, we normally mostly do and run the YAML file. Okay, and how we can create a YAML file? For this, either you can create, or there's some small trick. So there's option called -o YAML and -dry run. This is one small quick trick. Okay, this command will automatically convert and create a YAML file for you and save this file. Let's say d.yml. Okay, so one click, your YAML file created. Why I'm doing this? Because I told you, guys, mostly if you want to do something on the Kubernetes, we always has to use this file. And there's one more reason, guys, why I'm converting this command into YAML code. Now this code will come up. We have, let me remove unwanted things that I don't need right now. I don't want this. I don't want any time stamp. Even though you keep it, doesn't matter. It won't as such impact the things. I don't want any strategy over here. And otherwise everything will look good. So now this is the, guys, file. This is called YAML file, or the code in the Kubernetes perspective. And this code, guys, we use in the Kubernetes to run. So again, my developer or my Kubernetes guys has created this code for us. Okay, and now this code, guys, we also we upload this code in our GitHub account. So technically, in my GitHub account, I have multiple things. Okay, one, I have Jenkins files. Okay, second thing, I'm going to also upload one more thing, that is the code of my Kubernetes. That's called deployment. Here you can give any name. For example, this is, let's say, deploy .yml file. Just give some name. Okay, so this file I'm giving here. Okay, and let me save again. Now, what we have, this is the file. Using this file, I can instruct my Kubernetes what to do. So this file is very clear. This file say Kubernetes, I want to launch a pod from this image. This image is created again by my Jenkins only in my last classes or last other pipeline. They created this code and upload in the Git Docker Hub. So this part, that part we had already done. But we have this image now. Uh, Now this is the file who will instruct you what to do. So I want to launch one single code from this image. So this file is it. Okay, so this file, guys, is a Kubernetes file. Okay, but who will launch Kubernetes? Sorry, who will launch Jenkins? And how Jenkins normally do the things with the Jenkins file. So in the Jenkins file, we have to tell this guy to launch this. Okay, now how we can do? Okay, one of the way that typically we use to do the things is, this is the guys. This is the uh, pipeline, and you guys know in the pipeline, in the pipeline we have a command step called sh. You know, by the sh, guys, we can run OS commands. That part you know already. Let me show you very quickly again. So again, if I go and build this, they will go and download the latest code, and they detect Jenkins files, and Jenkins file, it was written that I want to run date command. They run the date command. Okay, but here my plan is not to run the date command. Okay, here my plan is to do something else. What I want, when my pipeline run, okay, they download the code from GitHub, and in the GitHub, what they download both the two files. Okay, these two files they downloaded, and one of the file is deploy.yaml. Okay, and this file is a Kubernetes. Okay, where they download? In the Jenkins master right now, because I don't have any worker node. Jenkins master is my worker node. Okay, so because this file is downloaded in my worker node in my Jenkins master, and right now, guys, what I'm doing here, I'm going to my Jenkins master, and IP of my Jenkins master is this one. Okay, so this file is somewhere downloaded in the workspace of my Jenkins master. Okay, master. So I'll tell my Jenkins master that you have a file, which one, deploy viable somewhere. I want you run it. So understand one thing, guys, very small thing. This is more about Kubernetes perspective. Okay, if you have any YAML file of Kubernetes, and if you download this file in some of the OS, in my case, I download in my Jenkins master, and I want this file to be run. So master computer, if master computer want to run this file, then master computer should need kubectl command. Okay, so master computer should need kubectl command. In my case, I have this command already with me. Right, if you don't have this command is free, open source. Go to internet and download, you'll get it. Otherwise, I'll show you very quickly. So if you search for kubectl for Windows, for Mac, for Linux, for Red Hat, you search here, they will give some link, and in this link they give you a command, right, to download. Just copy, paste, and paste here. So you can download this command. Okay, so this is the client side command for the Kubernetes, or I can say this is the management command. This command is the one who will coordinate with the Kubernetes. And because this is a binary, and normally, guys, in the Linux, you keep your binary and the command in a folder called bin or usr bin. Okay, and plus this command should be executable. So just wherever, guys, you copy in your path, just make this command executable. So technically, in my system, this command come out. Okay, so wherever, guys, you have this YAML file, right now I'm putting in the master, but it may be in your worker node, or worker node be static or dynamic, both the node, you know how to get it. So wherever, guys, you downloading this file, that system or node should have this this particular what I say command. One more thing I need, guys, here is, okay, only command doesn't help you. If you client want to connect to Kubernetes cluster, okay, so this system should need kubectl command that I have, plus they also need a in the Kubernetes, guys, it is not as config file. In my last class, guys, of Jenkins, I told you about this file. So this file contained the IP address of Kubernetes, port number, username, password, all the things you require. Okay, so it means if you try to run any of the command here, like I want to see how many ports we have, it fail. Okay, because they don't know where my Kubernetes is. So wherever guys Kubernetes cluster you have, go there and get the admin file and config file copy here. Okay, so this part you guys know in my last classes where I show you how to integrate with Kubernetes, in case I show you that one. So guys, I already copied that file in my / folder to save our time. Okay, so so if you go to in my case, guys, I already copy here. So the same file, guys, my last class I downloaded from Kubernetes cluster, I uploaded here. Okay, now if you want to run any Kubernetes command, just use a keyword called kubeconfig, means this is my config file, and this file contains my details of the Kubernetes. And if I run this, now guys, you can see, guys, you have a proper connectivity and there is no challenge. So technically, according to my setup, this computer is able to connect to Minikube computer. Okay, why? Because this computer, by chance in my case, is Jenkins master, and Jenkins master has two things with them. One is kubectl command, and second thing, they have my config file that contains login and password and other details. Okay, so this setup, guys, we have. Now we know this command. Okay, let me copy this command, and you guys know how to run the command with Jenkins pipeline. So I can go to my Jenkins again, same. I can go and configure my pipeline, but because my pipeline code is not here, so there's no meaning to come here, right? Because nothing is there. I put everything in my in my GitHub. So let me go to my GitHub. Okay, I'll open this Jenkins files, edit. Okay, and instead of date command, I will copy this one, this command. So I'll tell my SS, just go and run this command. And what this command will do? This command will contact to Kubernetes and tell how many pod we have. But technically, guys, we are not interested in to run the pod. We are interested not to see the code, to run the code. So guys, in the Kubernetes, we have a command called create or apply command. Okay, we have the option called F. And here we can pass, guys, our file name. And because we are the one, guys, we had created a file name with deploy.yml. So we can type my file name. So how to work finally, let me show you. So this project, guys, when my pipeline download, all this file downloaded, deployed by YAML also downloaded in the same workspace. Okay, and this is the instruction of the Kubernetes, what to do, right? And this is the file, guys, I am asking the Jenkins files to run it. So yeah, same file in my current workspace where they downloaded, but because I know my file name, wherever the download is again not important. Okay, so I'm asking my kubectl to run this with the help of these details. That's all. So this way, guys, you can deploy your image or deploy your app or pod inside the pod in the Kubernetes. So this is the one of the way to do it. Okay, to do it. So let me show you. But before, guys, I show you, let me again go to my command line of Windows. Okay, and let me delete everything. So everything would be clean. So you can see the difference, right? That something has been launched from our Jenkins. So I'm cleaning everything. So in my Kubernetes, I don't have any deployment or pod. Okay, so nothing is there. Okay, now what happened? As soon as I run my where it is Jenkins, this one, what do you see, guys? One click, even though you don't have to come and click here. Okay, you have a triggers in the Git hooks. So as soon as the code uploaded in your GitHub, this pipeline automatic run, they download. Even though, guys, everything looks good, they download, and after the download, guys, you can see they apply and everything look very much clean. Okay, and how can we prove that everything is working good? I can go and check from a command line, and you can see, guys, this is being launched. who launched this, or I can say who deployed this pod of my app, okay, is by Jenkins. So everything is automated. And this pod, we can guys create some external IP address or load balancer. If you know Kubernetes, you know how to do it same way with services. And you have a final IP address, and finally your client will connect with this guy. so typically pretty simple, guys. Now it is your choice where you want to deploy, in some platform as services, cloud, Kubernetes, whatever, guys, wherever you want to deploy, we have a plugins available, and those have a commands available. You can use those plugin and the command to do it. But I know in this case, the way I configured my pipeline, I haven't used actually the the plugin. So here I directly use my command. Why I did so? Because guys, plugins is not available for all the platform. First of all, this first this is the main point to note it. Second thing, what a plugin available in the market for something, they're not always compatible with all the version of everything. Okay, for example, the plugin that I downloaded, it's called Kubernetes deployment plugin. Okay, they working with a limited version of Kubernetes or limited version of Jenkins. Okay, most probably I believe in my current version of Kubernetes it might not work. But let me show you the code. Okay, if you want to run the same code with the plugin, okay, same thing gonna happen. So what I'm going to do, let me edit this file. Let me create one notepad file so I can have a backup copy of this code. Okay. So what I'm going to do, everything is same. Everything is same. Everything is same. What I'm going to do, instead of this command, because here I'm writing the exclusive command of Kubernetes, because we know about this. So there's no meaning to use the plugin. But by chance Kubernetes come with a plugin. So rather than I type the exclusive command, so they come up with their own commands or own function, and name of the function is called Kubernetes, okay, deploy. So this is the guys function come with this plugin. Okay, even though you can go and check also. So if you search for Jenkins Kubernetes deploy plugin, okay, deploy plugin. So maybe somewhere you will see more detail. Let me check. Continue deploy plugin. Okay, so guys, here they say they have, this is the function they available, Kubernetes deploy function. Okay, so that's what I'm writing here. One minute, please. So Kubernetes deploy function. In this function, guys, they come with the multiple arguments. One is config arguments, one is credential arguments, and some more argument, whatever Kubernetes support. Kube config, you know, guys, in the Kubernetes we have to pass kube config file. So multiple arguments they have. So obviously the main argument would be what? Would be config. So here you have to tell, here you tell where is your config file. Okay, so config file. Okay, here config file means which resource of Kubernetes you want to launch. So in my case, right, the file that I want to run is called deploy environment. So you have to pass file name called deploy environment. That's all. Okay, so here, guys, this function, guys, is not this function, guys, is come from the plugin that I show you today. Okay, so without knowing as such the Kubernetes commands like kubectl, okay, you can use this function and tell the function that I am going to give this file and I want you run this file. Okay, so that's what you have to ask them to do. Okay, so let me try to run this. Let's see what happened. Okay, and Let me again run, build. Logically, guys, it might or it should fail. Okay, so they download something and they say starting Kubernetes deployment. Till here, everything working good, but they fail. And if you try to understand the error, why they fail, one of the error might be, might not be so much clear here, but one of the error might be, they say, I don't know where is Kubernetes cluster. I want to deploy something, but I don't know where is the Kubernetes cluster available. How can I connect and launch? Okay, but guys, the command line, we have passed this option, right? In command line, I pass this file, right? Okay, so from this file, this cube shall know I run, but where here? Okay, but in this function, they are also doing the same thing only, right? But in this function, right, I haven't passed, right? Where is my Kubernetes? Sorry, over here. So where is my Kubernetes cluster? So for this, if you can go and check again in this help manual of this plugin, do we have option to pass kubeconfig file? Answer yes. Okay, so you can use this keyword and tell the file where you have kubeconfig file. But understand one thing, guys, this function or this keyword sometimes is very dangerous. Why? Because in this function, I have to tell what is the path of my kubeconfig file. It means they normally put in Jenkins workspace. It means you to upload your kubeconfig file here. Got GitHub. Then only, guys, it will come to your workspace, right? And after they will come in the workspace, okay. Then when you download from here, then you can tell where it is, what is the file name. Okay, so this is a Git, and normally we put everything in the public, so anybody can go and open your kubeconfig file and get the details and the credential of the kubeconfig. Okay, so that is a reason, guys, rather than we are going to use this option, we can use this option. Okay, what's the difference? This option, guys, will provide you extra capability. Okay, what capability, guys? In the Jenkins, we have a option. If you want to use any credentials, login name, password, access key, secret key, config file like Kubernetes, right? So rather than you put those information in your pipeline as a code or some other pipeline or some other code. Okay, for example, you might, anybody who know about AWS. So you can use AWS command also here, where you can pass your access key, secret key to connect. It's very dangerous, right? Anybody have the access of this code, they can get it. Okay, so if you want to write a code and code need login and password, private key or something like this, so obviously it is not good practice to keep here. So what can we do? We can create a separate box, or can say secure box, sometimes also known as vault. Okay, and keep my details and credentials there. So guys, Jenkins also have this capability. Okay, so how can you do? For example, I can go to my Jenkins. Okay, let me open new tab. In the Jenkins, guys, if you go to manage Jenkins, and there's option, guys, here called manage credentials. Okay, so this is option, guys, where Jenkins will manage your credentials. You can put all your login and password over here, and wherever you want to use any of the job or pipeline you want to use, you can access that. So without putting your login and password there directly, when your job run or pipeline run, they will pull the login and password from here. Okay, for example, if you click here, guys, if you remember, guys, till date, I put my some login and password Docker Hub. I put my login and password of GitHub. Okay, or maybe Kubernetes. Everything, guys, they store here only. So I created there some of the portal, but finally, guys, they are stored here only. But you can also create more. And for this, there's option called store Jenkins, and there's option called Jenkins here. If you click here, and they're asking you, do you want to store something globally? I say yes. Here they ask you to add a credentials. I say yes. And now here they ask you what kind of credentials you want to store, username, password, or SSS private key, or your certificates, right? So what do you want to store here? So guys, if you remember guys, in my, I think GitHub or some practical, I store using a password, and in my some of Kubernetes class, I store secret file text here. Okay, so what you want to store, you can store here. But in my case, guys, one extra option come up is called this one. This option actually by default not there, right? Why this option extra come up? Because today I installed a plugin called Kubernetes deployment plugin. So because of that plugin, this option come up. When I click this option asks me, okay, that I am the one who are going to store a configuration file of the Kubernetes. It's a very secure file. I'm just giving a name. Let's say this is my kube config file. Okay, and where you have this file. Okay, so I have the file somewhere in my Jenkins master, or you want to pick from Kubernetes master. There they ask you the login and password of the Kubernetes master, or I'm copying, pasting my file directly here. So because guys, in my case, I have this file already with me. I had downloaded in my laptop, in my that class of Kubernetes. Okay, so I'll open this file. I'll copy the entire data of this file and paste the content. Okay, that's all. So now what I'm doing here, I'm storing everything inside Jenkins and saying, this is my secure credentials. I want you go and manage this thing for me. Okay, you go manage this thing for me with this ID. So this ID, guys, I need somewhere. Okay, and let me see. So Jenkins say, now I am managing one more credentials, right, of Kubernetes, not like login and password, not like access key, secret key, not private key. It is a Kubernetes config file, and the ID is like a variable. When I want to use this variable ID to pull and to pick. Okay, and that's exactly, guys, we are going to do here. Okay, so now if I go to my this code again, let me update this code. And here, guys, this Kubernetes deployment function. Okay, again, if you go to this doc, they say, if you know the kube config ID that I know already, paste here. Okay, and for me, this is the ID. Okay, and again, it will use colon and put this ID because this is the one value of this one. So what happened, guys? Now, guys, I am doing everything in the GitHub public. You guys can also access. But if you access this code publicly, nobody get my actual login and password. Because my actual login and password, okay, where they store this ID. But where this ID is there, my Jenkins system. My Jenkins system is in my private world. Okay, so guys, it is very common thing in pipeline the code or job as a code. You have to write lots of things, and mostly, guys, we need some login and password, some credentials to put there. Otherwise, thing won't work. Thing won't work. Okay, but here the strategy that I use, I keep everything in my box, sometimes also known as credential or vault, and I'll pick from there. So when my job run, okay, this keyword will tell that your details is there in this ID. This ID go to Jenkins. Here they pick this file, they get all the details, and after get the details, they provide to this function, and the function use the login and password and other details and deploy this file. And where this file? In my current workspace. And technically, from where the workspace come from? From my GitHub. So very interestingly, guys, it has been designed. So this is also one more way to do it. So last week I show you is this one, but here, guys, I did everything manual. I keep this file in my Jenkins master. I running this command manually. So if you guys good in knowing the command, you can directly put here. But anybody who are not great in command lines, okay, so their guys, their plugins gonna help them. They give you some pre-created functions, go to their manual, and depend, guys, what you want to use, you can use their function to use. Okay, but only challenge in the plugin that sometime I don't like. I like plugins, no doubt, but only challenge in the plugin, Guys, Kubernetes is a product, or maybe if you go to any other products also, they keep on coming with the new versions. If the community who is created this plugin are not active, and they're not cop up with the new version of the, because every version come with the new features or some other been obsoleted. Okay, so this particular thing fail. There is a big challenge normally in some of the plugin I found. Okay, maybe here also you see today this issue will come up. But let me check very quickly does this coming or not. Okay, so let me save this. Okay, I'm putting guys doing everything in the GitHub, and now I'll go to my Jenkins again. Okay, let me build this. They're building. Okay, building, and guys, this error. Oh yeah, this is the error. Okay, so this is the error, guys. This error actually means the same thing what I'm talking about. So this plugin is supported some of the version of Kubernetes. My version is different. I think I can say my Kubernetes version is very latest, I can say. So this particular plugin is not working. Okay, so but why I take this topic, I take intentionally to explain in both the perspective here. Okay, when to use command line, when to use plugin. So, or maybe you can go to plugin document and ask them, okay, what version they support. Or maybe if you go and check this error also been posted as a as a one handle, and this handle from GitHub, you can see this. If you read this error, they are very clear, and they say this plugin is supported in some of the limited version. So if you have that particular version with you, maybe you can say, yeah, this is the version. If you have, then this plugin or lower upper will work for you. So something like this, right? So that's what I also want to tell you. I show you both the choices, whatever guys you're comfortable on, you can use. But the things that is foolproof always run is this concept. They always run. That's what I want to tell you here. Okay. So I take this example intensely. I know it's failed, but I take this example intensely to explain you this context also. This code is right. There's no error in the code. Okay. Error is the dependency, right? So if you try this code in another version, it will work. Okay. So this is one thing. Now let me take the right code and post it. Okay. Now let me take some more examples over. Okay. So this example again with some. This example is actually you can think some extra concept of pipeline only, nothing special. So what can you do here? Okay. In the steps, guys, we have a concept, because guys, technically these are the Groovy scripts. So a lot of concepts of programming the support. Okay. So whenever guys you run a steps, okay, or maybe I can say stage. Okay. So inside the stage and before the step, okay, you can write a conditions. Okay. How? So like in programming language, we have if or else. If this is true, then do this. So here instead of if, there's a keyword called when. So we can write, we can tell the when, okay, and say, I want this stage to be run. Stage means all the steps to be run. Okay. Only when this condition true. And for the condition, guys, I can type my expression here. Okay. And inside the expression, guys, we can write something that will give you final output true or false. So let me guys type this thing manually true. Manually I'm typing. Okay. True means this expression is always true. And when it's true, when it's happy, when is happy, then this stage steps will run. Okay. Or let me use false here. So I'm just typing guys manually here just to show you. Otherwise, we can take this option from other way also. So what I'm doing here, I'll commit this. I'll go to my my Kubernetes command line also to delete everything. So I have no ports running, Now this time, if I run my run my what I say job, so job won't fail, but they don't do anything because I take I'll tell in my stages that this condition is so guys, job run successfully. But if you see the output say we skip this stage due to the when condition, and because we skip, so obviously when I show you here, my pod won't launch. Obviously. Okay, so if I see, does we have pod running? Obviously no. Okay, so we can write something here. Okay, that will tell you, and then we control true or false. Okay, one of the way to control is, we can parameterize. So how can you do the parameterize? So I told you guys already, inside the pipeline, before after the agent or before the stages, we can type a parameters keyword. So what is parameterize? We guys know, we have discussed already. So I'm parameterizing something. Okay, and there's a multiple way parameter we can multiple choices, text boxes, boolean. So here guys, I'm manually setting a boolean. So boolean param is a one function in the pipeline is a code. How I know? I just go and search in the Jenkins pipeline, you'll find this function. Okay, and I'm just giving a name to this guy, nothing allow or not for port, some name I'm giving here. Okay, so some name I'm giving here, and that's all. Or maybe you can set some default values if you want. Let me use some default value. Maybe let's say true. Or you can put some description. So you go to this function, guys, manual, you'll find multiple options there. Okay, and now what exactly I want to do here, technically this name is a variable name, not something, is no description. So let's say this name is called deploy code, or maybe again the variable name called is deploy. It is my variable. So by value is true, but when my pipeline run, this pop-up come up, and then you can decide to tick or untick. So if you untick, then this value will false. And now what I do here, I copy this variable and paste here. That's all. I paste here. And this is the variable coming from parameter. So guys, in the pipeline, there's one specific keyword called params keyword. Okay. So params is a keyword that tell you this variable is not a variable from the pipeline. It is not the environment variable, right? Is this variable we had created from a params. So any variable that you created, I show you in my last some of the topic also. If you want to call this particular variable, then params is the key to use. The dot, then the variable. So technically what I'm doing here, I'm controlling my flow, right? So this might be a use case where, you have a pipeline run, and on the fly, you have to decide you want to build or not, you want to test or not. So I tick there, no, it will skip that stage, it won't test, and they will directly do deployment. Okay, so those kind of controls, guys, you can do here with parameter. Okay, so let me save. And guys, understand, guys, right now I'm not doing anything in the Jenkins. Everything I'm doing in my GitHub, right? Everything is under the control of developer. And if if I have triggers here, this will automatically run, but here I have to run it manually. So what do you see here? When I build this, actually, because my code is coming, okay, build this. What happened? So they get the latest code. Because they find true, because by default option was true, so they get true from there and they run it. Okay, so let me again go out, but this time, guys, this option will come up because my code is not there in the GitHub. So first time they pull it, now they know this code is parameterized. This time I run, they will show me this option. Do you want to build or not? So I said no. So this variable value would be false. In this case, if I want to build, okay, you will see the difference. This time they will skip your stage. See, guys, they skip it. So this is the case. This is the power of the jobs or pipeline is a code power, right? You can control multiple things. Depend, guys, what exactly you want to do here. Okay, likewise, there's you can take the power of all the internal variables. I show you some variables name in my last class. So we have branch name variable or other things. So you can write here, if branch is Dave, do this. If branch is master, do this. So we can use when clause here to plan all the things. Okay, there's one more concept here in the pipeline that you can use. Obviously, I don't have to change here. I have to change everything in my GitHub. Okay, so there's one concept. When you guys you run any stages, so there's a post build things you can do here. Okay, so there's one keyword after all the stages you can write. It's called post. Okay, and the post, guys, you can plan. So it's post is something like this. Anybody who know exception handling, try, catch, finally, something like this. Okay, so this post know what to do. So there's a keyword called success here. Okay, so this success keyword is one kind of function. So post know all the stages that we are running is successful or not. If successful, I will do something. Just for testing, I'm just putting echo all good. Or maybe can add some mailer function here or something like this. So if everything's successful, we'll send the mail. Or there's one more things you can check here is called failure. So failure is the one who detect their job will fail or not. I can say if fail happened, so I said something failed. Here I can use some mailer functions or some kind of other pipelines I can trigger if this will fail, automatically launch this one. Okay, so this thing you can do here, or maybe if you want in any of the cases either fail or pass. So there's a keyword always. Okay. So in this case, always. So if you have something, maybe sometimes you write a code, you want to clean something. So you can put this code here, either fail or pass. They always run and they clean something, or they will do something for you. Okay. So there's a post pipeline things they can do for you. Okay. So let me run my code again. Let me deploy this time. Okay. They are running. And after my complete pipeline run, there's some error in my code, maybe some curly braces. Where is the error? Error might be here because post is a part of pipeline only. So maybe I have to close this. There's always close here. This curly braces close of post, and this last curly braces is the curly braces of your pipeline. Right now, guys, this is not IDE. If you have used any Visual Studio Code or some IDE, it won't help you. There's something missing. Okay, so if I go here, build, build. Now, because I said true, so they run, everything working good, and now they say always and all good. Okay, so means they detected. The detect is not failed, everything good. So finally, guys, what do you write in always or in the success, they run for you. Now inside your choice, you can write any of the command, any of the functions, whatever you know till date of the pipeline, you can write here. So it is like a post action thing you can do here. Otherwise, there's some small option, guys. We have, if something is you're doing is failed, you want to retry. So we have a retry function here. So retry, guys, will help you to retry again and again and again. Okay, maybe you have timeout if you are some job taking a lot of time. So you say I don't want they take more than 5 seconds. So you can set timeout 5 seconds. If they're done in 5 seconds, that's okay. Otherwise, fail the job. Okay, so these are smaller options, guys. You can go and find those options, very simple options. So nothing complex here. So I don't want to invest our and your time to talk about these small options, but it is there in the pipeline as a code. Okay, so that's what I just want to tell you here. One more small thing about Jenkins. Nothing very technical, but sometimes is very useful. guys, whenever you create a pipeline, okay, so let me go here, and in the configure pipeline, so there's the option, guys, they give you to create your own code very quickly. Pipeline syntax I told you already. Okay, in here, guys, here we have a steps. You can directly create a code, and you can find some function here, and almost all the function here. Okay, so kube config has also come up, Kubernetes deployment also come up, that's what I used. Okay, this option also come up here, and this option called meal also. Okay, here, guys, you can type 2cc bcc, so it will create a meal function for you. Okay, so you can put this mail function in some of the stages, or maybe in your post action also. So you fail, you can send the mail. But for this will help you to get your mail function. But right now, guys, this mail function, if you type, it won't work because if you want to mail something, you need a mail server. So without having the mail server, mail function or mail commands doesn't work. So either a company has your own mail server, or you can take the help of Gmail also. Gmail is also a mail server, you guys know. Okay, so for this, you have to configure in Jenkins once. Okay, where in the dashboard, in the manage Jenkins, so you have to configure something in the Jenkins. I think over here somewhere. Let me check. And you tell to Jenkins that which mail server we would like to use. Okay. So maybe here or in some other page. Yeah, here. So here, guys, you tell which mail server you want to use, because Jenkins will work as a client for the mail server. Okay, but here to tell where is your mail server. Okay, so either company has their own mail server, or you can take use the mail server of Google. But just one thing, guys, www.gmail.com is not a mail server, I believe you know. Okay, www.gmail.com is a web server, but internally in this web server, they are running with a mail server. And you want to see the detail of that mail server, you can search, okay, Gmail SMTP settings. Now here they tell you that where is the Gmail mail server. Okay, so technically this is the host name of the Gmail mail server. Okay, so just go here and type this mail server. Okay, plus, because this is the secure mail server, you do obviously put your login name and password. So here you see I want login and password to be used. Okay, and here you can type your login and password. Okay, and if you want anything security, okay, like you want SSL TLS, I want TLS for encryption, so you say I want TLS, and the port number is 587. You can see here 587, this they're running. Okay, so that's all you have to do. Okay, and reply to address, which address you want this to be replied. So the guys, this is a one-time setting. Here I'm not doing this setting further, but pretty simple. Type your Gmail username, type your Gmail password. Okay, and there's option also here to test. Click here. Here they ask you where to test, so just type somebody email address and click. They check this setting for you. Okay, so now your Jenkins know which mail server to use. Okay, and from where, which from ID. So these are from ID, from where, from which IT to send the mail. So when you guys create any job, okay, any pipeline, there's a post action, guys, normally over the mail. For example, very quickly, let me show you this part. I'm not setting here. You can test it, set it. Okay, so guys, when you create any job, for example, I'm creating freestyle job. So normally, guys, you might have noticed, okay, in the post action, okay, so we have option called email notifications. Okay, and guys, here they only ask you recipient, that's all. So they're not asking you which mail server to use. So they're asking you, for example, tell me your team email ID, for example, team.xyg.com. So when this job unstable, you can write a condition unstable, or some individual thing is broke, you can write a condition. If these are the case, then about this job, they will get the mail. From where? From Gmail. From which ID? What ID I said there. So from my ID, this team will get the mail. So they're starting to do only once, and otherwise, per job basis, where you want to send the mail, you can send you can put the email ID here. So either you can put in the job, or if you want to use the pipeline. So in the pipeline, there's a mailer or mail function you can use. For that function, you can create from this, syntax snippets from there you can create. Okay. So guys, that's all. Multiple things I have discussed to you. There are some small options over here, but the main thing I wanted to tell you here is this keyword called when conditions, or main thing is how to deploy our app finally in the Kubernetes environment. Okay, two way I showed you. Whatever way I want to use, that would be your choice. Okay, so that's all, guys, for today. According to the agenda, guys, if you see, if you have an agenda with you, I believe that everyone has. I have covered 200% of the content, right? Lots of topic I have covered. That's not the part of the agenda. A lot of topic I covered in very detail with a lot of use cases. Again, that was not the plan of the agenda, but you guys are asking me, so I thought to explain you everything and with the practicals. Okay, so almost everything is covered. I believe, one more last class. Okay, I have to summarize everything together. I have to explain some more small concepts and some one or two interesting concepts. So I think, okay, can you hold for a second, please? Can you hold for a second? So I think, guys, I need just one more class, and most probably, guys, we are planning to have this class day after tomorrow, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So tomorrow, day after tomorrow will be most probably the last class, and we'll conclude everything there. So that's all, guys, from my side today. I'll share this code and this screenshot to you, whatever, right? And that's all. Any questions, guys, if you have to me, you guys can ask. Is any way directly to deploy a code from GitHub to Kubernetes cluster? Normally, Cherukumali, we need some kind of CI/CD tool. Normally, maybe you can use GitOps. There's one thing, but if you're asking directly, maybe some trick we can do in GitHub workflow. Okay, that's what we can do. Okay, so maybe you have might be some use case, but Git labs you can use. There's a different thing, but if you're talking more about GitHub only, hooks won't help you as such. GitHub workflow you can think of. It might help you. Just check it. I think it will help you. Is Piyush, the Kubernetes that we have created here is for private Kubernetes only. Okay, so this Kubernetes that we have created is because we set up in our own private world. So normally it is also known as private Kubernetes cluster. Is Onkar, mostly the practical till date we see is on CI/CD only. I haven't used this term, and that's what I want to conclude in my last class. Okay, I will explain you the meaning of CI/CD, and you come to know all this practical till date we had done. Almost practical is based on CI/CD only. Okay, so that's what I want to conclude in my last class. That what is CI/CD? Even the first day I already explained to you. I want to again conclude. Now this time you guys, because you now know lots of internal concepts of Jenkins, so now you come to know what is the uh, actual meaning of CI/CD, because we know multiple concepts now. Abhishek, if you miss the class of Minikube, again, if you can to contact to our team, if they can avail to you the Kubernetes class. Chetan, approval request topic, there's two way. One, Jenkins has an inbuilt capability of approval request. Okay, if you go to manage Jenkins, you can see there one way. Other way would be, there's one small trick sometimes I've seen we use, is the help of parameter or the help of when conditions, right? So when I run the complete pipeline, uh, we have a parameter, they hold our stage until my team or QA team tick and approve there. The way I use here, I tick and my further part built. Okay, so that can also be done. So multiple pipeline we can connect together in this way. So there's two way. Either can you go for parameter wise, or there's one option here is called approval. I'll try, Chetan, if you can talk in the next class. Yes, you can use GitLab also instead of GitHub in Jenkins, right? So mostly what Jenkins will provide you, mostly GitLab provided to you. Pankaj, there's no great challenge if you want to integrate Ansible with Jenkins. If you want, in my next class, I will explain you very quickly. It won't take much technical knowledge we need. If you know Jenkins, right now, I believe, Ansible, integration of Ansible with Jenkins is not big deal. So Chetan, for your interview, I suggest if you can explain if you can explain this particular use case is very much lucrative for the interviewer, right? The main use case is, the dynamic provision that we have done. So code come in the GitHub, we put the triggers, and on the fly, based upon the labels, we launch the pod, we build the things, and today I show you how to deploy in the Kubernetes. So that is a entire process we have done. Okay, if you can explain you in interview, this is the one that you experience, and you guys might have tried also. It definitely give you a lot of extra point in your interview. I believe me, it definitely help you. Okay, so this one, uh, what you ask me, this is one feedback I want to tell you. It will help you a lot. So, guys, I'm trying to pick any relevant questions over here. Saswant, I'll try, because now you know Jenkins. Working in CLI won't be big deal. I definitely Saswant in my next class. I think I also told you initially to somebody, maybe to you, about the CLI. So I'll show you how to use CLI command. Okay, so I'll definitely in my next class. It won't take much time because you know concept of Jenkins. So working on the CLI command won't be the big deal. But I'll show you in my next class. So yes, if you are a part of my earth, right? So there I will talk a lot of use case of machine learning with Jenkins. Okay, this class might not be, not everybody is comfortable of machine learning, but in some of my Jenkins class, something I have talked about, guys, machine learning integration with Jenkins. If you remember, guys, in some class I talked about this. Okay, so I'm not talking further here in machine learning or deep learning, but if you're part of Earth, we'll talk a lot about this in upcoming classes. Yes, because it is actually not about cloud is auto scaling. It is also the way the plan. Only not cloud auto scaling going to help you. It is also the app layer. Okay, so how they construct the app, how much connections they have, how they managing the their request, tons of things. Overall work together towards if a huge request come up suddenly in the app, if app is crashed or not. It's not always the hardware or the network part. Okay, so I don't know why this app you're talking about is crashed, but and mostly they use cloud, I don't know. But even though they have auto scaling there, auto scaling will give you more resources, but auto scaling never check what is going inside the app as a code level. Okay. That's what I want to add here. Piyush or somebody asking guys about interview. I believe whatever guys we have done practical on Jenkins and the use cases we have talked about, we have implemented here. If you can explain some of the use case also, that is more than enough for interview if you want to click about the Jenkins. Okay, that's what I can say. Okay, so uh, you can use Muhammad the Ansible Vault decryption with Jenkins. Pretty simple. Ansible playbook, we have a command. Okay, in the playbook, we can pass the option, right, to have a vault from file. That's all. Okay, so use the Jenkins, run the shell, right, Ansible playbook, and where we have the file of the vault that contain the key, give the path. So Jenkins don't have to do much. Jenkins' duty is to run your command, right? Run your job or run your steps. Now, in the steps in the command, what you type, that's matter, right? So Ansible, you know that command, I believe, to pass the vault key file URL. Okay, and in the file, put the password. The automatic, when Jenkins run this command, it automatically unlocked. So Ankit, that's great. You so much interview correct. So it's very, very nice. So I believe, guys, most of the question I see here right now, I see right now is touch. And that's all, guys, for today. One more class I mostly I need. Day after tomorrow we'll connect again and we'll conclude everything. Okay. So that's all, guys. See you. Bye. Take care. Good day and good night.